Welcome back to elmagorecaps. Like and subscribe for more amazing recaps.
In this story, we will follow the adventures of a little girl who loves to pet animals in a world filled with dangers, politics, magic, and obviously dragons. What does this new life hold for our little heroine? The adventure begins with God, yes, the Almighty himself, offering the possibility of reincarnation to a 27-year-old woman who dropped dead from overwork. The Creator sends her to a world where humanity is in constant conflict with the local fauna, and it is her task to decide whether humans should be destroyed by divine wrath. He asks her what she desires to help him in this endeavor, and she mentions her love for petting animals, and that she really was anticipating the moment when she could finally stroke her family's cat again. So the Almighty grants her wish, with a special twist. Thus, Nefertina Osfi is born, a little girl with brown hair and black eyes, into an adorable aristocratic family in the kingdom of Gash. Her siblings are named Ralph and Karna, and her dog's name is Dee. She loves playing with him and has a special relationship with all animals. Cerulia, her mother, is a beautiful blonde woman, and her father Dayland is a hardworking man. One day, her mother takes her to work because no one else can look after her. It doesn't take long for Nefertina to get distracted, chasing pigeons, playing with squirrels, and encountering a huge white tiger with green eyes. Unsurprisingly, she quickly befriends the enormous tiger, and even manages to somewhat tame him in seconds. Naturally, she asks to ride on his back, like anyone would, and they begin to stroll through the forest. Their adventure is interrupted by a man on a tree who explains that despite Lars's good behavior, he is still a wild animal. The man takes her off the tiger, which she doesn't like at all. After explaining who she is, he takes her to her father, the Duke Osfi, who thanks the prince for bringing his daughter in safety. This surprises Neema, who thought the young man was just a savage. Yes, Nefertina nickname is Neema. Even if this doesn't make sense, she proceeds to introduce herself formally to the king, impressing him with her demeanor. Soon her mother joins them and scolds her for casually playing with the sky tiger, explaining that he is a sacred beast capable of using divine force, not a cat, and usually bonds only with its master. Neema, however, says she just wanted to pet Lars. Afterwards, they proceed to the Colosseum where her siblings will participate in a school competition. Ralph leads a small army against another boy's army, all made with magic, and after a quick confrontation, Ralph emerges victorious. After congratulating him, Neema asks him to go to the bathroom, and on her way back, they encounter the typical anime extra character trying to belittle her brother. When she confronts him, he gets so angry that almost slaps her, but the prince intervenes, putting the extra in his place. Your Highness insists on carrying Neema into the arena as if she were his little sister, and upon arrival explains that the magical circle on the ground is used for summoning creatures, and Karna is a summoner who uses her body's mana to cast spells. After some special effects, Karna summons a colossal red dragon, a sacred beast like Lars, but much more lethal. This alarms everyone. However, instead of being concerned, both her mother and Karna appear confident, unlike Neema, who is so worried that she jumps over the arena's protective wall and runs toward the massive creature. Seriously, there are 1,000 people in this arena, and no one managed to stop Neema before she positioned herself between the red dragon and the mages. She must be the fastest cute child in the whole kingdom. Neema asks them not to attack the colossal dragon, and after realizing that the creature could communicate telepathically, she requests them not to attack the mages present as well. The dragon mentions that humans often summon beings of his race to fight their battles against their will, and he despises it. However, Neema's cuteness, as she asks to touch his scales, convinces him not to harm the humans this time. Before leaving, the enormous creature leaves a red orb with her, allowing her to communicate with him even at a distance, as well as with other dragons nearby. He assures her that when she grows up, he will recognize her as his master, and asks her to carry the orb wherever she goes. The little girl transforms the orb into a teddy bear and puts it on her back. The colossal dragon introduces himself as Sun and takes flight towards the sky. Afterward, the king makes an emergency summon to understand what happened and asks if Neema made a pact with the dragon. Her father swears that she did not receive the blessing of the red dragon and poses no threat to the kingdom. The king then asks his council what they think happened for a legendary creature to be summoned that day. The first to speak believes it was something supernatural, perhaps divine intervention. The next is a priest that suggests it might be a divine sign that the kingdom is on the right path. But Neema can easily see he is using religion to manipulate the king. Noticing the girl's boredom, the prince suggests she play with Lars. She happily goes and immediately starts to feed the huge tiger pieces of meat directly into its mouth, and then proceeds to play with him like he is a normal cat rather than a sacred beast until she falls asleep in his lap. While she sleeps, the advisors try to convince the king to force her into a formal pact to use her as a weapon against the king's enemies. The priest even insinuates that she may not even be her father's legitimate daughter due to their different eyes color, irritating her both parents. In the end, her father and some allies persuade the king to free her from any obligation to the kingdom, at least for now. When she wakes up, the king assures her she is free to visit the castle whenever she wants, and her parents confirm she isn't in any trouble since she did nothing wrong. Shortly after, one of the commanders of the royal guard arrives to take her to visit the dragon stables at the prince's request. On the way, she envisions how amazing it would be to pet all the dragons in that world. Once there, Neema introduces herself to the captain of the Dragon Knights, who welcomes her and mentions he will soon show her the dragons that live there, but he has to warn her not to touch them, or she might lose her little hands. It becomes apparent that there is friction between Dan Yates and Gwyn Fields, but all Neema can think about is how stupidly cute all the wonderful creatures that live there are. Due to her intense desire to pet them, her orb starts emitting energy, making the leader of the group of dragons come directly to her. He introduces himself as Gizzle and lets the little girl touch his face and fly on him, a moment she can barely contain her excitement about. After they talk a bit in midair, Gizzle takes her to play with the other dragons, who behave like children and readily accept her into their group. They run together, play in the water, and so on. Later, when she returns riding on Lars and followed by various dragons and dinosaurs, the two older mages can hardly believe their eyes. Dan Yates was so impressed that he ended up convincing the captain of the beast stable to let Neema visit the place and meet the creatures that live there. The girl thinks the place is beautiful and feels like she's on a safari. Soon, the leader of the horse herd arrives, an impetuous black horse who initially doesn't seem interested in her. Les explains that this horse is just like that, selfish, but Neema can see that in reality. Yoas behaves this way to ward off intrusive humans and protect his herd, winning Yoa's heart and improving his relationship with Les. The group then starts horseback riding and is soon followed by a group of boars, but Yoa scares them away because he noticed Neema had been scared of them. Soon, they encounter a group of ostrich-like birds, and Les says they are super fast and used by messengers to deliver urgent messages throughout the whole Gash kingdom. Neema obviously wants to ride them, and Les decides to let her do just so to teach her a lesson. Apparently, he was getting jealous of the little girl's close relationship with the various creatures, so he let her run with the wind in her eyes for a while, before stopping it with a spell. Who is the child now? Neema finishes the race dizzy and almost falls to the ground. Leston Agma receives a secret message and has to leave. A white elk has escaped, and everyone is after it. Quickly, Les develops a plan to find the sacred beast, but it doesn't take long for our little heroine to arrive, riding the white elk herself, saying Lars had told her about its escape. This ends Les's unwillingness towards Neema. Later, she visits the city with her sister to celebrate her birthday. Neema buys 3 fried chicken quilts and gives them to her sister, the butler who came with her, and her dog, Dee. Afterward, the girl buys a bunch of candy to share with her mother, brother, and father. How cute is that? Before returning home, her sister is approached by a trio of girls who try to belittle Neema because they say she can't use magic. Karna simply says that the king himself adores Neema and her sister is stupidly talented, shutting up the trio mercilessly. Upon arriving home, a surprise party awaits her with a huge banquet and the presence of the royal family, her own family, and the friends she had made in the past few days. The little girl cries with happiness, recognizing the hard work put into the celebration, and then they begin to eat and socialize. Dan Yates gives her a dragon scale taken from the creature's most sensitive area, The prince gives her a golden bracelet as a gift for protection. Gwyn Fields gives her an encyclopedia of the kingdom's animals. The royal family gives her a necklace with magical stones that activates if she says, "Help, Uncle Galdi!" Her father's friend gives her a little sword, while her mother gives her clothes that will grow with her. But let's not forget Nox, the little bird that Leston Nagma gave Neema, and that she just loves. All in all, not a bad day for our mini-heroine.